What's up, everybody? I'm back with another roller coaster review. I know it's been a long time since I got a new credit. We just got back from Kings Island. You remember? And correction from what I said in the vlog and from what I said in the park review, I only have 13 coaster credits instead of 14. Because the one we forgot was actually one called Surf Dog. It's a Snoopy themed ride. It's like a Zamperla Disco. It's like what's it called? Pipe Scream at Cedar Point. Same layout, same everything, so I wouldn't have even done a review on it had I gotten the credit, but I didn't get the credit. We didn't even know it existed when it was there. We couldn't find it all, so we didn't do it. But no, there will be, even if I gotten the credit, there wouldn't have been a review of it coming out. But know that I did not get that credit, so I currently sit at 39 coaster credits and not 40 like I was originally planning to. But I rode all the major ones, and I'm going to go in order of how we rode them at the park while they were that day, like how we picked them up. The first one we did was Banshee, their B&M inverted roller coaster that they opened in 2014. It is to this day the only modern B&M invert in the United States. What I mean by modern B&M invert is any invert added after 2006. And Banshee is the only one added since 2006 in the US, added again in 2014. There's a lot of differences between the old B&M inverts and the new ones, as far as intensity level, the restraint system, the layout, and stuff like that. And it's pretty noticeable if you compare Banshee to, I'll just be comparing it to Raptor, the only other B&M invert that I've ridden at the time of recording this video. But you can find that if you were compare it to Afterburn, or if you compare it to Mont2, or you compare it to even like Flight Deck or Patriot, the newest invert before Banshee. So just know that going in here, that is what I mean by new inverts. So, first of all, this theming on this ride, Cedar Fair, you come in Cedar Fair theming, you don't expect much, right? And this ride, though, had some pretty good theming, like the station's like a church, because, it's themed after Banshee, like the ghost, like the mean-haunted, spirited demon. And it plays into the theming really well because it sits on part of the land that Son of Beast once stood on. And that problematic coaster and everything with it. I wish I gotten to ride it. I didn't got a pin of it though. But it's kind of like the spirit of Son of Beast still haunting the area. And even in the queue line, you got the station, which is like a church. The sign's really cool as well. But you also got the queue line has tombstones in it dedicating. It's part of the theming. One of them is the big one, dedicated towards Son of Beast. It's got a Son of Beast like plaque on the front, the flame on top, and it says 2000 to 2009 on it. It's a really nice touch. Banshee plays into Son of Beast because Son of Beast is a long roller coaster. Banshee is the longest inverted coaster in the world. Kind of playing into that theme. It's got 7 inversions. So a lot, very, very loopy roller coaster, more than Raptor. And another big thing, notice, I get to the ride experience, right? It's got the B&M vest restraints, the ones that I kind of think are the same ones that they are put on Valraven at Cedar Point. Obviously, you expect like that. Now, those really don't, those prevent really any headbanging, or at least they're supposed to. But they do prevent you from getting a really good airtime. Now, being a B&M invert, there's really not going to be a lot of airtime to begin with, so that wasn't really a problem, as it kind of is on like a Valraven. A lot of people complain about that, but an invert, you're not supposed to get airtime, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Gotta say, that lift hill, though, was fast. Like, I had ridden those B&M lift hills, man. I don't know what it is. Cedar Point's, Raptor seemed pretty fast, but, like, Banshee's lift hill, you hit the chain and you just go, like you're flying up that lift hill. I know it's about the same height as Raptor too, and so it's like wow, it's like they really improved their lift hill system. It was crazy. But another thing that's different between Banshee and all the other inverts in the United States is there's no B&M pre-drop, which is very common on not just older inverts, but also a lot of their older coasters in general. A lot of their old floorless coasters, a lot of their old stand-up coasters, a lot of their old sit-down coasters, a lot of their old, like you're seeing, sit-down, floorless, stand-up, sit-down models. Not even some of their old hyper coasters have that as well. It's very distinct pre-drop. Banshee doesn't have that though. It goes straight into the first drop. And I really didn't care. I mean, what it does for the pre-drop is just let you loop around and then loops around, and then you can kind of get whipped over to the drop. it's not really that big of a deal. I didn't really mind not having the pre-drop. I don't think doesn't really make or break anything for me. But we still got a pretty good whip over the drop regardless. We did 2 rides in on it only. I wish I had gotten more. It was our first ride of the day, but it was also one of our last rides of the day. We sat near the back both times. I got a little bit nice whip over the drop. Nothing like Maverick or Steel Vengeance or anything, or even some of the other coasters that we were able to ride at Kings Island. But it was still a pretty nice drop. And then it goes down, and this is another portion that makes it distinct from other inverts in the United States. A lot of the inverts, they go into the drop and they immediately go into a vertical loop. Banshee goes into a dive loop. It goes down, hits up, and into a dive loop. And the dive loop goes right over, right near the midway. Not the midway, but the path of the park. And you can really get a good shots of it there. Then it dives into its vertical loop, which actually goes around the lift hill. Kind of like Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. It goes around the lift hill, and that's really awesome. A really nice touch for it there. It's a lot of good photo-esque opportunities and stuff like that. And the other inversions were really good too. There's a Cobra roll, and there's not a Cobra roll, 0G roll, sort of. I don't know why I call it a Cobra roll. A lot of other awesome inversions, but the one distinct inversion that really stood out from the rest, and it was actually the last inversion, and it's coming out of a turn, and you're going and you go and you just slow turn, like that's a slow 0G roll, just slow turn, and you get some incredible hang time on that thing. It is an awesome inversion. I loved it. It's a very distinct portion of the ride. Absolutely loved it. And then you pretty much pull around back into the station. It's got 7 inversions in total. Despite it being a long ride, it was a long ride. Actually, I didn't find it though. It's a long ride, but I didn't find it much more long than Raptor. I found it a little bit longer, but not as long as some of the other rides at the park even. But I guess you really do fly through most of those inversions. Like all the other 6 inversions, you are just absolutely whipping through them. But for the last one, you course go really slow, and there's not much else to the ride other than the inversions and the drop. Obviously, there is the most intense portion of the ride, I think, is a helix. My portion is a helix that takes place, I believe, right before the final inversion of the ride, that very slow one. I found pulls a pretty good G's on that one. But this ride is not intense by any means, which is another reason why it's distinct from the older B&M inverts. Most B&M inverts, when you think of an invert, you mostly think it's going to be intense. Afterburn, Raptor, Montu, Alpengeist, the Batman the Ride clones, Patriot, even Talon. Like, you're going to expect them to have some high level of intensity that is kind of like a trademark for all inverts, right? Banshee doesn't have that. It's a very graceful ride, despite going fast and flipping through most of the inversions. I did not feel a lot of intensity, again, outside of that helix portion that I was just talking about. And I think it allows you to also appreciate the ride more, and I thought that was really nice. It was really nice to be able to appreciate the ride and get a good feel for it and stuff like that. Again, I wish I'd been able to ride it more. I loved its color scheme. And it was one of the more picturesque rides in the park as well. A lot of good filmings. I wish I'd done more. I know there's some good spots over by the Bat, which I didn't get a chance to really go over there much. And I wish there was like some pathways I thought I could actually go towards and couldn't. But it's one of the rides I really get a little bit more off-road footage of than most of the other attractions at Kings Island. You see that in the vlog and stuff like that. Overall, it was my favorite ride. It was our first ride in the park. It was also my favorite ride in the park, but it's not a very high favorite ride. Like, I love B&M Inverts. They're my favorite kind of roller coaster that's ever been made. And now I do think Raptor is better than Banshee, because Raptor lives up to the B&M Invert trademark more than Banshee does. What's its intensity and stuff like that. However, Banshee is a really good roller coaster. And you should definitely ride it at Kings Island. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. Amazing ride. Smooth though, because a lot of people were complaining that it was getting like a lot of rattle, like it was having like somewhat rough, and I was really worried about that coming into this ride. No, I thought it was really smooth. It might have been a tiny bit of a rattle, but you're not really gonna notice that. It was really smooth, I thought. Great ride. No headbanging, no roughness at all. It was amazing. So I don't know what people are talking about, but it being rough. If you think it's rough, comment down below why you think so. I'd love to hear your opinions. And I want to hear other opinions on Banshee. And if you're going to either be an inverts like Raptor, Montu, any of them, let me know about them in the comment section down below, because I hope to ride more of them in the future. They're my favorite kinds. So that's it, do it for this review of Banshee. More reviews coming in the near future, so stay tuned for mixing with much more amazing content. So until next time, everybody, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.